Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about human resources. And look, I know what you might be thinking. Paperwork, right? But it's so much more than that now. It's really become a powerhouse that's shaping the entire future of how we all work. So, to really get why modern HR is so critical, let's just start with a question. I want you to really think about this for a second. What's the number one reason people quit their jobs? All the research and honestly just common sense tells us it's hardly ever just about the money. So often it comes down to their manager or just their overall day-to-day experience at work. And that's where a modern HR department comes in. They're the ones who are supposed to be building and protecting that positive experience. All right, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the employee life cycle. Then we'll dig into how HR went from just pushing paper to being a real strategic partner. After that, we'll look at the future of work, and we'll wrap up with why all of this really matters to you. Okay, let's jump into our first section, the employee life cycle. At its heart, HR is really about managing the entire journey a person takes with a company, and we call that the employee life cycle. You can really break this journey down into 5 key steps. It starts way before someone even gets hired and goes all the way to their last day. And getting this cycle right, well, it's been proven to make a huge difference in how committed and productive people are. So it all starts with attraction. This is all about building a brand that makes people want to work for you. I mean, think about it. Companies with a great reputation get 50% more qualified applicants. That's huge. Then, once you've hired someone, it's all about onboarding, making sure they feel welcome and ready to succeed right from the very beginning. Okay, next up we have development and retention. This is the part where HR focuses on helping people grow their careers, learn new skills, get ready for what's next. But just as important, it's about creating an environment where people want to stay. And that means having fair performance management, meaningful rewards, and genuine engagement. But here's the thing. Managing this whole life cycle isn't just about ticking boxes anymore. The role of HR has changed a lot. So let's get into our second section and see how it went from being all about paperwork to becoming a real strategic partner. If you look back, say, to the 80s, people called it personnel. It was purely administrative. Then in the 2000s, it became more about human resource development. But today, we call it strategic human resource management. And that's not just a fancy new name. It's a totally different job. It's about being plugged into the core goals of the business. So this is the key takeaway, right? The big shift. Back then, it was all transactional stuff, leave records, payroll, mountains of paperwork. But now, it's about transformation. HR leaders are expected to be the ones driving change, building the company culture, and acting as trusted advisors. And this quote really says it all. The top HR person, the CHRO, they're not just in some back office anymore. They're right there with the CEO and the board, making big decisions and helping the company navigate whatever comes its way. And believe me, that evolution is only speeding up. Because right now, HR is at the center of some of the biggest changes we've ever seen in how we work. And that brings us to our third section, the future of work. First, let's talk about where we work. This whole hybrid thing, it's not going away. I mean, look at this chart. A whopping 81% of companies are expected to make it permanent. And guess who has to figure out how to make that all work smoothly? Yep, HR. But it's not just about where we work, it's also about how we work. And there are 3 huge things happening here. First, a massive focus on employee well-being. I mean, 76% of people report feeling burned out, so that's critical. Second is diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI. And third, companies are finally starting to use AI and data to make smarter decisions about their people. And just to show you this isn't some buzzword, look at this number. The market for DEI initiatives is projected to hit $15.4 times billion by 2026. That's not just a trend, folks. That's a serious global investment in trying to make our workplaces better and more fair for everyone. Okay, so we've talked about HR as a strategic partner shaping the future, but let's bring it back down to earth. What does any of this actually mean for you, whether you're in a job now or looking for one? Well, it really all boils down to this one concept, the employee value proposition, or EVP for short. Basically, it's the deal. It's everything a company offers you in return for your hard work. It's the simple answer to the question, so why should I work for you? And today, that EVP is way more than just your salary. It's the whole package, right? It's the money, of course, but it's also about opportunities to grow your career. It's about the culture, things like work-life balance, and it's also about the social side, doing work that matters with people you actually like. And the whole job of a great HR team is to build that entire experience. So that kind of leaves us with one final question for you to think about. What about the HR department where you work? Are they really building the future? Or are they still kind of stuck in the past, just dealing with paperwork? The answer to that question probably tells you a lot about the direction your whole company is headed.